Rust has been plagued with a cheating issue for as long as I can remember. Anyone that plays Rust is very well aware of the huge cheating problem currently, and I usually make Escape from Tarkov content on this channel, but I've seen something huge happen recently in Rust, and I'm going to touch on it and address it. Maybe there's some guys who play Rust who watch my channel, but this is actually huge news, really big news for Rust and EAC, and it's definitely should be spoken on. I don't see many other people speaking on this. Not too many people are aware. This is really big news for gaming in general, because if other games can follow suit, this could be huge for gaming. On the 4th of July, Rust put out a huge wipe and a update, which was big news for players, and everyone started their wipe not completely understanding what had just happened behind the scenes. Cheating communities went into a complete frenzy. They were all attacking each other and abusing each other and tearing each other apart. They all woke up on wipe day without a cheat to use. But why? After doing a little bit of research, I looked around and I found that some cheat developers had made announcements in a couple of cheating communities that Rust, along with EAC, had added encrypted hashed names, and the cheat developers were going to start working on it immediately. I jumped in a call with someone that I knew, and I had this kind of broken down and explained to me a little bit, as, well, I'm not very bright. I am going to attempt to explain this to you guys the best I can, but just remember this channel is called 10IQ Gaming for a reason. So for a cheat to read what's going on in the game, for it to read the files and tell the user what is actually happening in game and give the cheater that information, it has to actually read game files. Well, before this update on July 4th, apparently all of the game's objects, items, player health, and everything like that was in hash number type deals, like you see on your screen right now. And a cheat could read those numbers and they could give the cheater information such as player health, player location, objects, loot, ESP, all the information a cheater would need to cheat in the game. And the game had packaged them in the files in convenient little hashtag numbers, which would give a cheater all the information they needed to cheat in Rust. However, on this update, that all completely changed. You see the code that always was and always has been for Rust, suddenly one day on an update, completely changed, which forced cheat developers to have to recode their entire cheat from the ground up. And you're probably thinking, big deal. It'll take these guys, what, a couple of hours, couple of days to figure out the new code and slap it on another cheat, and there'll be cheaters back in Rust in no time. Well, that's exactly what happened. It took cheat developers roughly a day or two before cheats were back online. And then all cheaters rejoiced, and that's pretty much the end of the story. Cheating can't be stopped. Get good. I'm just kidding. Give you guys a bit of story time. During World War II, the Germans crafted an incredible concept named the Enigma code, where a typing machine would be typed on, and with each press of a button, it would be programmed to type an actual different letter to what the user pressed. Once a sentence would be typed, it would end up looking like completely scrambled writing with no way of understanding what was actually written. The person receiving the code would be previously hand-delivered a specific code to put into the machine that would completely scramble the sentence into one of 150 million different possibilities. That was almost impossible to crack. With time, however, what actually made the Enigma machine incredible was that it changed with each message sent, making it impossible for enemies to decipher the code and figure out what was written in the message at all. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, what the hell does this have to do with Rust, 10IQ? Well, remember our little update on the 4th, and then the very next day, cheat developers managing to crack the code, and cheats were back on the market, and everyone was cheating again in Rust? Well, on the 6th, Rust announced another mandatory update, where the entire code was re-scrambled again, leaving cheat developers in the exact same position they were in a few days before. Now, you're probably thinking they can just bounce back daily. You know, they can just keep coming back daily, and it's just going to be a never-ending circle. But see, it took cheat developers a day to return, and when they did return, they only had a shadow of the features that their cheats had before. They only had very light features like ESP, no recoil, and things like that. Just very light features. They're not cracking the entire code when it's taking them 24 hours to, it was very basic features. It was just ESP and radar and no sway, things like that. See, I think if EAC and Rust can just, at the press of a button, put out an update and completely change their game's code whenever they want, whenever they feel like it, I feel like it's going to slow down cheat developers, because how often are they going to be willing to keep continually doing this daily? And it's going to come down to whether the player base is okay with updating its game and downloading a new update every day or two to keep cheaters out of the game, or whether that's just too much of an annoyance for them. I feel like a lot of people would just accept an update every day or two if that would solve the issue. I really do. I feel like a lot of people would just accept that. I still have to do a lot of research into this, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. It would be really crazy to see if other games can implement this as well. I'm no, tech guru or code whiz. I barely understand this stuff. I had to have, most of this stuff explained to me, and I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to coding and cheat development and all that sort of stuff. But I wonder if other games could implement this, like Escape from Tarkov or DayZ, or other games that are just having the same issue over and over non-stop, and they just don't seem to have an answer for it. It's definitely, I don't think I've heard of this happening before. I don't think I've heard of a game being able to just completely change its entire coding overnight. It must have been something they were working on for a while behind the scenes, and the fact that they can just put out an update within a day or two and just completely change it is just wild. I definitely feel like if this is just keeps happening in Rust, and that's just how Rust is from now on, an update every day or two, then I feel like cheats will eventually just turn into being very, very light forms of cheats, just like radar or just ESP, and it's probably going to get expensive, because these guys are going to have to be just constantly daily reprogramming this stuff. Like, it's not going to be something they just make and then just sell for 6 months or 12 months until they get detected and then go again. These guys are going to have to be daily at their computer for hours remaking this stuff. It's definitely, it'll slow them down. It really will. My honest opinion, if I think it will solve cheating in Rust? Being that I'm someone who's done the wrong thing and the right thing, and I know just how many people are out there coding this stuff, and there's all sorts of people making cheats. There's people doing it for free. There's people doing it for money. There's people doing it just for themselves at home. Do I think it will solve cheating in Rust? It'll definitely slow it down. It'll definitely tame it a little if this continues. I don't think it will completely stop it, but it'll definitely put a big hit on it. It'll definitely change cheating in Rust for good. And if they keep it up, then I think it'll definitely change the game for the better. But I just don't think it will just completely solve cheating. It will definitely get better, but there's just so many people out there making this stuff. My biggest interest is whether this could be implemented in other games. If there's people that know more about this, maybe let me know in the comments. I'm gonna definitely look into it a little bit more. It would be really interesting to see if this could be implemented in other games. It would be insane if this was the state of gaming now. It definitely would be something that would change the tides, I think. That's pretty much the video. I'll probably do another video touching on this again, just like an update video, and we'll see how it goes.